Welcome everyone. This is Indie Podcast. This is our first installment of Indie Podcast. I'm the host, Tabs Tuchlo, and today I've got a very interesting guest with me. But before I get to that, I just want to highlight a bit, what the platform is about. We started Indie Podcast as a platform that's informative for creators. We want to cover all content that is creative, content that will empower the kids and develop content creators across the continent. And today's first one that we have, like I said, we have a very interesting guest. The brother is Munya Chanetsa. All right. I got it right, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Sony A&R, Sony ATV Publishing in Africa. Munya has over 10 years experience in the game. Mm-hmm. And he's done a lot for the game. But you know what? Let me just let him do all the talking.
Yes,
I'm here to talk to him. How are you, my brother?
I'm nice, Mr. Tabi. So how are you, fam?
Lovely, brother.
Thank
so yeah,
you.
man, just give us a bit of a background about yourself, brother. Who is Munya? What have you been doing?
Name is Munya Chanetsa. Yeah, I've been in the industry for some time now. Plus 10 years. I put in my 10,000 hours by now, which is dope. I know a few things. If anyone really knows me, I'm really passionate about my industry. I'm really passionate about the growth and with growth comes education, and that's why education is my biggest focal point. When we know better, we do better. But outside of that, I was announced as the A&R Manager for Africa at Sony ATV, which was also quite a new world for me, but very exciting thus far. Before then, I was at Capasso, which actually helped bridge the gap between me and Sony, actually. Capasso, which is the Composers, Authors, and Publishers Association of South Africa. So I was heading up the licensing department there, just making sure anywhere where there's music usage that composers and authors, also known as songwriters and producers, are getting their royalties. So Capasso focuses on what we call the mechanical royalty. So that was also an eye-opener for me as well. And prior to that, I was at Content Connect Africa, which is an aggregation company.
Oh, yeah?
Which is now delving into content creation, as well as they have their own VOD platform called Viva Nation TV.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, but I left before a lot of that stuff started happening. But yeah,
you jumped too early.
I jumped too early.
This guy.
But it's CCA, yeah, it's an aggregation company. And that's where I can really say that my career really did kind of develop there.
Yeah.
It had to do with creating content, distribution of content, marketing and promotions. I was part of the team heading up to open up offices in Ghana and Nigeria, branches in Uganda, as well as trying to open up Angola as well. So you did the thing.
You did a lot of work, right?
Distribution there,
Yeah.
and through that job, I built a beautiful network of people. If I could shout out everyone that I've worked with, God has led me to the right people. Because in this industry, there are a lot of talkers, let me tell you that. But for some reason, or not some reason, God has led me to the right ones.
Yeah,
so I'm grateful for that. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell, fam.
Dope, man. I just quickly want to jump. I'm probably going to be jumping a lot across these things.
No problem.
The aggregation part, that just triggered one thing with me, because I've been believing that aggregators are publishers. You know what I mean? And I understand there's a distinction there.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, can you just...
And it's actually very funny, because I've been actually saying, we actually had this conversation in the podcast we did last week, Thursday, is that it's almost like publishing we need to figure out a new word for publishing. Because the confusion is that publish technically is to make available. If you publish something, you've made it available. So when I approach people now, when I'm at Sony, I'm like, do you have a publisher? The often answer you get is yes.
Yeah.
Then I ask, who's your publisher? Then they start naming aggregators, digital distributors, basically. They'll name Content Connect Africa, they name Africori, they name TuneCore, they name what. And then I'm like, no, hold up. Those are not publishers.
Yeah.
So publishers should be called, I don't even know. So maybe it should be called copyright management.
So you know what I mean?
Just so it's clear distinction that we are managing copyright. That's technically what publishing is, manages copyright and commercializing it.
So in the distribution of it, there's no role that publishers play.
There's no role as it's Sony ATV, which is a publisher, and all the other publishers. We do not deal with distribution of any sort, way, or form. We don't deal with licensing in any shape, way, or form. We deal with publishing, which we'll get into.
Yeah. Okay. And with Sony ATV, man, Sony is big, right? Sony is like this is Sony from
global,
global stuff. I was looking it up, just the mix between Sony and the ATV part. You know, where I was reading up that there's the guy who used to own ATV. And he bought into Sony and all of that. You know, that's hectic. So for me, what I want to understand is when you're saying you guys working with composers or songwriters.
Yes.
Is it in a sense that you get someone to write songs and you then take them to artists, or how does that really work?
That's actually exactly what it is. So the way it needs to work is that there's publishers and their record labels.
Okay.
So we'll use the perfect examples. There's Sony Music Entertainment, which is technically the record label side of Sony.
Okay.
Then there's Sony ATV, which is where I'm at, which is the publishing side of Sony. So the distinction between the two and the services as well is that the record labels deal with the performing artists. When I say performing artists, is those people who you see on TV, the Rouges, the AKAs, the Questas, the faces. That's the record label. They manage that brand.
Okay.
Which is the performing artists. Publishing, we deal with songwriters and producers.
Okay.
And that's technically our function. Our function is, and if there was this like flow chart, is that in instances we would have relationships which we do with Sony Music Entertainment. We'd holler and say, yo, how's your release schedule? Who wants to drop an album? Who's working on an album? Can we pitch songs to them? They would then come back and be like, yo, Munya, here's our list of artists who are looking at dropping, and these guys are interested in some people to submit songs. And one of the things I think we need to also do is people see it, they sometimes accuse creators as you're not a real creative if you don't write your own stuff. And that needs to stop, because the reality is, as you grow as the brand, as the performing artist, the reality is sometimes you don't have the time to do those things anymore. As much as you'd want to, but you're now you're performing at gigs, you're then doing interviews, you're then there, you're here, you're doing all these different things, and then sometimes the songwriting process is heavy. So this is just a way this is how it works. So that notion of that you're not a real creative must fall.
I think that is massive in hip hop. You know, rappers are like, yo. But the funny thing is, ghostwriting has always existed. You know what I mean? And
yes,
it's actually literally what you guys are, the space that you're in. You know,
I handle the ghostwriters. That's the realist. That's it. I handle the ghostwriters.
Interesting, man. Interesting.
Real talk. So.
And tell me now, once someone is signed as a songwriter for Sony, how does the relationship work? So say you've signed Umbube from Soweto. He's a composer. How does the relationship work?
So let me tell you the functions of a publisher. So the main three functions of a publisher is, number one, is to protect your copyright. So you as the songwriter or the producer who made the beat, we make sure that nobody can just basically jack your lyrics or just jack your beat and claim it as their own without seeking permission from you or compensating you for that. Technically anything, the bottom line with copyright, I know there's a whole lot of rules like, hey, if I only use 15 seconds and then it's not, the fact that you're using someone else's works, that's an infringement of their copyright. So you always need to try to seek permission. So our job is to do that. Number two, it's to collect your royalties. So earlier I mentioned the collection management organizations, and the two here in South Africa that deal with songwriters and producers are Samro and Capasso. Samro deals with a royalty called the performance royalty. So the performance royalty is, by definition, anywhere where your song is played in public, there's a royalty associated to that, that is due to you as the songwriter or the producer. Capasso now, they also do the same thing. Also, their royalty is called the mechanical royalty, and that is more a use. It's based on usage now. The amount of times, like, so Capasso would need to license, or what we were doing, we'd license Apple. So we have direct license with Apple, Spotify, all the streaming platforms, all the broadcasters. Anywhere where there's usage now of music is where Capasso comes in, and there's that mechanical royalty, which is then due to you as a composer or an author, also known as a songwriter or producer. So we make sure that those roads, because especially now the world it's a global village.
Yeah, definitely.
So your music could be getting played there in Denmark and you have no idea.
Yeah.
But the fortunate thing is, like Sony ATV, we've got offices around the world, so that's how we'd be able to make sure that you're collecting all your royalties wherever your music's being played. As a producer or songwriter, not as a performing artist. And just to make it clear, sometimes we do work with songwriters, the likes of Moonchild, Busiswa, Something Soweto. These are all performing artists, but the reason why we sign them to Sony ATV is because they write their own stuff. So that's why that's how it comes into play. Sometimes that's why it gets confusing sometimes. But when I'm relying on these people, on these creators, I'm relying on them for their songwriting capabilities or their production. Mapurisa, that's his production capabilities. It's not necessarily as him, Mapurisa, the performing artist, or Moonchild, the performing artist, not the brand. So yeah, so that's also something important.
Yeah. So as you're talking, there's like so many points that you do. You're just dropping jewels,
No,
brother.
we got to, man.
Yeah. However, I just want to backtrack a few, man. You mentioned, let's say that Sony has offices all over, the country, all over the world. You're global. You're global. And I want to take you to just on the side with that and say, what happens then with a local guy who's not signed to a big label as Sony, right? Yeah. And his music is playing in the UK or in Denmark. And, all the dude has is he sees on his Spotify for artists to say, oh, I've got 100 streams in Mexico.
Yeah.
How does the collection work from that? Like, is Capasso, I'm thinking they're the ones who're supposed to be.
So correct. So the likes of the CMOs, the Capassos, and the Samros, these guys, as I said, they would license these platforms. So they're the ones technically responsible for making sure that they collect those money.
Okay.
So Capasso stands for the Composers, Authors, and Publishers Association.
Okay.
That's what Capasso stands for. So as Sony ATV, we are members of Capasso. And what we do is basically, as a member of Capasso, then they pay us. Basically, we make sure that the money and all that stuff is coming, and we collect from Capasso, basically.
So with an independent guy as well, that would be the case. Capasso
So as an independent, you can still go to work at Capasso. Not go to work. You can become a member directly at Capasso, and I advise that even if you have a publisher, because the dope thing it provides more transparency. So even if you have a publisher, if you're signed to Sony ATV, you can still register directly as a member at Capasso and stuff, and basically then it just gives transparency. Then the money will still flow via your publisher, but you'll get full. With Capasso, I believe they still share the statements with you, so you'll see that okay, this amount has been paid. You'll be able to know what you can expect, depending on your deal with Samro. Then you'll be like, okay, this is so. It just helps you manage stuff. Yeah, and that's what's key. Yeah. We need to treat this like a business now.
It is a business, brother.
It is a business that needs to be treated that way. Yeah. So it's very important to do that.
Right. And just touching back on these, I just want us to delve a bit more on this, how publishing and the royalties work, and this is just because you've got the experience, right? So no disrespect to Sony.
No, it's all good.
We're just trying to get into this, and people should learn. What was I thinking? Okay, cool. So if I'm trying to upload a song online to a DSP, right? Okay. Let's say I do it on myself. So there's a platform, for example, Detour Music.
Okay.
That I would use. And there's a part where on the song that I'm uploading, they can give me an ISRC code.
Correct.
Which would be from Britain.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It'll be that.
So let's say the time I want to upload the song, I haven't registered with Samro, or I don't know, for some reason I forgot what is my ISRC, because it's one code that you could reuse for the year. So for example, I don't have it at that time. I use Detour's Great Britain code, and my song blows up that site.
Yes.
Is there a way of me getting those royalties? How will it work? Because
so the thing is with these ISRC codes. So an ISRC code is technically it's the best way to describe it. It's a fingerprint for your song.
Okay.
It's like a code for your song particularly. So one of the things I always encourage is that don't have two different codes. It also it just creates confusion technically. The way you should have it is have one code, and you have one code only, and then you build your catalog using the different codes. But when you start switching it up, where you have one song with two different codes, it increases the chances of just
not getting
messed up. Creating confusion and money not going to the correct places. So number one, I advise you to always use the correct ISRC codes, and in one ISRC code for one song.
Okay.
And that's why I say treat it like a business. You should have it on. You must know where to find it. You know what I mean? That's how you need to treat it. It's not just something just frivolous that doesn't matter. It's real. So locally, RISA here in South Africa is responsible for issuing out South African ISRC codes. So they're the people who you talk to. If you want to, you become a member, you register there, and that's how you get a local ISRC code. And I encourage that. I encourage let's really start feeding the local infrastructure. Let's put these things in place properly so that things can be done properly from our end. So when you see that thing on Ditto, when you want to upload, you'll put your local ISRC code so that just things are in order. You can't have. Imagine, as a human being, you can't have 5 different fingerprints. Imagine having each finger has a different fingerprint and you forget. It just creates confusion. One song, one ISRC code.
Dan, away.
Simple.
Dope, man. So, one interesting thing that I want us to move into now is what you've recently been involved with, Solomon Linda. Right. That was a big one. Funny thing is, I saw the documentary on Netflix.
Yes, The Lion's Share.
Yeah. I don't think I watched it all, or I don't remember. But tonight,
no, I'm telling you, if you watched it, you'd remember. So that means you haven't watched it.
Clearly,
because you will not forget if you watched it. So
tonight, I'm gonna get into it, brother. I'm gonna get into it. But just tell us about that, man. This is a very interesting that you did here, man. Just let us know a bit about that.
So. Yeah, I think it started when I moved from Content Connect Africa and I moved across to Capasso. And that's why I said it was just, Capasso did open up the whole world of copyright to me, which I was not aware of at all. And I remember thinking, if I don't know this, and at that time I'd probably been in the industry for 9 years, and I was like, if I don't understand this, then how can I expect the person trying to enter the industry, let alone those who've been in the industry? I wonder how many more people don't understand this stuff. So anyway, so when I moved to Capasso, I had to go to school. I had a course in the Academy of Sound Engineering. They were offering the course in music business, masterclass in music business, which I hit that. And during that, I mean, the main case study there, if you open up the chapter on copyright, on the first page, Solomon Linda. And at that time, I'll be honest with you, this is last year, so I wasn't aware of this properly until last year. And I mean, even during that course, I was like, hey, it touched me, but I was just like, hey. And I remember thinking at that point, I wonder how come no one's done anything about this? And then I just said, and you move on. And then my lecturer, also advised, she was like, if you want to understand more, there's this documentary on Netflix called The Lion's Share. Hit that up, and you'll understand it more. And I made the mistake one Sunday, and it was even weeks later. One Sunday doing nothing, and then I hit it. I was touched. I was touched. I said, nah, fam. So that's actually what kind of spawned everything, where I was actually like, I want to try to do something. I want to try right or wrong that's been done. And number 2, I want to stop this from happening. Because it still happens till today. I mean, that was in 1938. And till today, I can tell you that stuff is still happening. Something that happened almost 80, 90 years ago.
Can we just do a brief thingy about it? What's just explain it to us. What was the situation with that song?
So basically, a gentleman by the name of Solomon Linda composed and performed a song called Umbube. This song was then basically, to cut a long story short, it was, I guess, due to people didn't understand the Zulu, they didn't understand it was Umbube. That's when in America it became Awimboe, which it then eventually transformed into what we know as today as The Lion Sleeps Tonight. And basically through that all, Solomon Linda died with 112 Rand in his pocket in 1962. And the way that copyright works is copyright is an asset, and that's how we need to start really viewing it. It's an asset to the point where your family can still eat off it. So that's why it's so important to get this publishing and stuff in order. Because these are things that it's an asset. A percentage or something is like owning a percentage of a house. And like imagine there's a crib and I give you 10%. That means you own that, and you can earn money however it generates money. So anyway, as we're saying, so number one, Solomon Linda's family, I think initially they weren't being compensated for the fact that he was the originator. It's questionable as to whether did he ever grant permission as to, and I mean, that's the thing, it's a very tricky one. I know the family share that he was illiterate, however, there were signatures on documents, but when you watch the documentary yourself, you must watch it yourself. I won't get into it too much. But the way it works is that, the family should have been, there's royalties, and these royalties which we're talking about, whether, in publishing, and it's the third part which I was going to get to, which was what we do as a publisher, and what my job is to make sure it's commercial. Is number one is, as an A&R, I find new talent. Number two is also to commercialize the works that are there. And how do you commercialize works? Commercializing works is through synchronization deals. That's through placement in TV, getting placement in adverts, placement in film, placement in series, wherever, in computer games. So that's where the placement. So if you can imagine how The Lion Sleeps Tonight has been placed, and that's all due to this original composition, you can even think about the monies that should have been generated for this family. The family should definitely be, I believe, a lot more well off than how they currently are. And the other thing with it is that which this thing touches me. It gets me touched. And I mean, I've had direct communications with them as well.
With the family,
But and even now, right now, they're very hesitant to even come in front of the camera because I think they've been through a lot, and it's understandable. So that's why I just said I'll just do what I need to do. So that's why I allocated them 45%.
Of
the new version of
Umbube,
which we've done now. But
it's such a powerful story, man. If you think about this song was released in what, 1938, right?
1938.
And what I looked up was he was signed to Gallo at that time, right? So I guess I'll watch the documentary just to understand how is a brother signed to Gallo, and then such a thing happens. So in 1938, he releases the song. In 1952, the song is sampled in the US by the Weavers. I think that's the name.
The Weavers, yeah.
And they are the guys who changed the Umbube. Yes, the Umbube.
Yeah.
And then 1961, the Tokens then sample the song, and they come with The Lion Sleeps Tonight. And in 1961, the song hits #1 in the US. This is a song written by Solomon Linda, a brother.
So that's 1961. So that means that song became #1 when Solomon Linda passed away in 1962.
Oh, snap,
If I'm not incorrect. I think it was 1960. So imagine, and I have also heard that, he suffered with kidneys. So imagine what, if the money had flowed correctly, what that would have done.
Differences.
And then I don't know whether also because it was apartheid and it was also a different time, if you think about it. It's like there's so many, it's just very gray. And it's touching. And I think that, and that's why, like with this project that I did now, where I've done a remake of Umbube. And I have allocated, as I said, 45% of the song to the Solomon Linda Trust or family. It's just so important to acknowledge that a wrong was done. And I think the way as an industry, because the industry, the unfortunate thing is we're not really together. And if I'm being honest with you, and this is being honestly heart, as in my head, I'm hoping something like this project will bring the industry together, where we'll notice a wrong done to one of our forefathers, one of the grandfathers right here, is a wrong done to all.
To all of us,
And we need to stand up. And that's why I'm just like, I hope that people catch on and they understand the heart of this project in terms of the heart, but also the educational element, which is even more important, so that, as I said, it doesn't get repeated today. It's so important.
Flip, and you like we were saying, actually, it might be happening today because a lot of people don't.
It is.
A lot of people still don't understand these gray areas in music, right?
Absolutely.
But brother, I would like to really commend you on what you're doing, man. This is very powerful.
We try. All we can do is try. Honestly. Just try to do the right thing. Because a better industry for I mean, it works out better for me as well. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just a better functioning industry, everyone wins.
Yeah.
From the publishing, all the different elements, from the record label to you, the artist, the brand.
Yeah. Everyone benefits. Yeah, it's an ecosystem, brother. It's an ecosystem.
But right now it's sick. Very. It is very sick.
You know, when they talk of chakras, I might just go a bit spiritual.
No.
If you're talking of chakras and, Asians picture it as a river flowing down straight, right? And there's a point. Each point there's a crown chakra, there's a throat chakra, there's a heart, all of that.
Okay.
And if, for example, the throat chakra is blocked, you can imagine what happens to the stream of this water.
There
you know
go.
what I mean? It's coming. The river's coming. It's gonna block right
there.
there.
We go.
It's gonna block water from getting to the other chakras as well. You know what I mean? And I think what's happening with the industry is people have centralized a lot of things and people have decided to start working alone. Like if you make it on your own.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey dog, you need to find your way. I made my way.
Very true.
And that is the divide that messes up the whole ecosystem, that messes up the flow. You know what I mean? Because if there's one bottleneck, it messes up for the guys who coming. You know what I mean?
Problem.
Yeah.
That's
So that's what I'm saying. I think what you did is very powerful, brother. And I hope a lot of guys in the industry in your space, even higher than you, my brother, would get onto such, would get into such.
I really pray they do on the real.
Yeah.
As I said, it's the heart of it. And then let's take that to really fix our industry. I know his name has been very popular in the industry right now, Nota. I've had a conversation with him about this kind of stuff. And one of the things he once said to me was, he was like, Munya, the problem with this industry is that a lot of people, it has been very self-serving.
Yeah.
People don't do things for the industry.
Yeah.
And he was like, and that's why the industry's where it's at. And he's very much been on the point that a lot of people who are in influential positions aren't doing the right things for the industry. And however, they've really benefited as individuals. And I mean, it did touch me, actually.
Yeah,
when he said that. I was
yeah.
like, I understand it.
Yeah, no, not. He calls himself the authority.
The authority.
Yeah. No.
I mean, that was, I felt it was very real. And I think that's why the industry isn't the state it's in. And we just need to do better because, it betters everyone.
It betters everyone. Like it's beautiful seeing guys like Nota being so vocal about these things. Young guys, seeing yourself as well, being vocal and doing something.
Yeah.
It's another thing to talk about stuff and tweet about stuff, but
action.
You gotta action. You gotta do the action. So at one point, the talking has to subside and there has to be action. There has to be start changes being made.
100%.
And you know what I mean? The industry is in good hands. I think if there's such young people who are actually aspiring to do such things that you're working with. And tell me, on the Umbube song, you worked with 2 producers and Mahotela Queens. Classic.
The legendary.
Classic.
Legend.
Also tell me with Moti. I saw there's Moti there.
Yeah, your boy. We needed it. Okay, so I'll tell you the story. How I even jumped on the song. But it was a Mahotela Queen. So originally, when I came up with the idea, I wanted to make it as larger than life and grand as possible. And I remember thinking I wanted a choir to do this, and that's when I remember I wanted I'm even running before anything even happened. It's when I met up I met this one of the DJs / producers, Boki Alt in Angola. There was a talk I was going to do in Angola. I was invited by Chloe Management, and I met Boki there, and he was young, enthusiastic, just positive energy. And I remember, we got along. And I mean, he appreciated a lot of the gems I was sharing. And I mean, I remember at the time it was still a concept, and I just shared with him, this is what I want to do. And I mean, he wasn't the first person I shared this with, to be honest. But he was the only one who actually did something. If you know what I mean, where he actually just said, I remember, so we came back from Angola, I think maybe it took about 2 weeks or so. Then he was like, hey, Munya, your project that you were talking about, here's a young beat. And I was like, I listened to it and I actually liked it. I was like, I feel this. There was something dope from the get. I sent it to a few peeps. I got positive responses. So I said, Boki, let's move with it. Let's go. Then he got Cuba to jump on it as well, to add his thing. There was also another gentleman on the keys. Snow Keys. And I mean, he did the things as
Snowy
well.
Keys, with a name like that, you
yeah,
gotta
no,
do the things.
no. It's icy on the keys,
Yeah,
dog. Shit is icy. So he did the things, and I mean, so now we had a beat, and that's when now I remember thinking I wanted the gospel choir on it.
Oh yeah.
So I am friends with one of the members, and we connected and we started talking. However, due to I guess the busyness, as in you guys don't know how busy those people are.
Yeah, which choir is this?
Soweto Gospel Choir.
Oh, Soweto Gospel Choir. Yeah.
So they're busy.
They're busy, so you couldn't get
So I
time.
mean, eventually started getting hectic, and also, I mean, it became apparent to me I didn't know they were signed to a label in Australia.
Oh wow!
You know, things like that.
Okay.
So then, anyway, it didn't work out. Yeah, it didn't work out, but things did work out because then I realized that they're the Mautela Queens, and so whilst I was at Cease Content Connect Africa, the CEO Anto Stella. She's been managing the Queens for years actually now.
Okay.
And I remember at one point I thought, why haven't I spoken to Antos about this? I reached out to Antos. I was like, would it be possible? She was like, yeah, let's get the Queens on. But the special thing about it is that we managed to get the OG Queens.
Oh yeah,
because I mean the Queens are currently only one of them is still performing. The Mama Hilda, who's the eldest Queen. She's 78, still rocking. She's still performing. She's got 2 new Queens with her as well. But the other 2 retired. But for this, for some reason, the OGs came.
They all came
together, which is a beautiful thing. And I mean, they came through. We recorded the song, and that's what I'm saying. Things just organically worked out in such a way that it just was reinforcing the fact that I felt that I'm on the right path. Because there's an element of ease, like you're just doing it and it's flowing. Yeah, you're just going with the flow. So that was really exciting, and so I can't thank anyone enough in terms of who believed in the vision, who took action, and Boki Alt was the first person. So real special shout out to him on this because
So you guys, so you guys did a remake of the whole song, or what is it exactly that you did?
So basically we've remade the song. So because the song is in public domain now. So the best way to say it is almost like the copyright expired. The copyright for the original song expired, and then just to say it in normal terms, in 2012.
2012. How long does that take for copyright to expire?
I believe copyright is for a period of 50 years.
All right.
After the death of the composer.
So
obviously, the copyright lasts for the duration of your life. When you die, you get an additional 50 years of copyright. So basically you own. That's why I say it's an asset.
Yeah, it is, right?
It's an asset.
Yeah, definitely.
So the copyright was up until 2012 is when it expired now. For the original Umbube, that was done in 1938. And so basically, when it's in public domain, that means technically I don't need to consult with anyone. I'm free to use whatever's there, as in without having to consult with anyone, without having to do anything. I can just. So that's why even with this project, the truth is I could have just created a new version of Umbube, but that's why I was like, it's so important that we need to do it right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Let's try to do it right. What should have been done back then? Let's do it with this time round. So that's why even when I spoke to the family's lawyers, they were like. They were like, the truth is you don't need to do this, but there's appreciation. Like, this is something you don't need to do. There's nothing that you don't have to. You can release a song and just put it out and just go on your merry way and do best.
Yeah.
But the way you've done it is really dope. And which gave me further ideas. They were like, and Munya, actually, in fact, and this is when I was discussing with the lawyer, he was like, this is a model. You should look at using this as a model that this is how we treat copyright, those in public domain. Let's create a model and you can choose an artist every year and just to remake a song and do exactly what you've done. And I said,
that is powerful.
That is something I will do.
Yeah, that is powerful, brother. And what I like about that is it's the preservation of the heritage, bro. Because one of the things that I'm really passionate about is our culture, authenticity, you know what I mean? And keeping it, because we flooded so much with content from the US,
100%,
Europe, and all that stuff.
Yeah. We almost don't even respect our own sometimes.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem that I feel in the music space, that it's dope to do what is happening in the US. I think it's a cool thing if you can do it, but let that not be the only thing that we do.
Correct.
And I believe if you are an artist, if you are a creator,
Yeah.
you know, you cannot, or people do it, and this is not me judging, but I feel that a lot of artists box themselves
Yeah.
into genres, and the guy says, I'm a rapper, I'm only gonna rap, I'm only gonna rap on trap, or whatever the case is, on what's hot. But I'm like, dog, why don't you
You're
do
creative.
something? Yeah, be creative. Be creative.
word.
Take Mbira. Put
Hey.
Mbira in the songs right
How's
there.
that? Yeah, why not? Put it in.
Why not?
Let's see.
Let's see how it goes. You know,
that's
get some African authentic sounds into it. Play with that.
100%.
And if you look at what Shoma Josie is doing, what Moonchild are doing, you know, there's a lot of artists who are very authentic and they really making it big that way. You know what I mean?
It's true. You're seeing how those who are authentic, how you can see the difference.
You see the difference, brother.
On a global scale, though.
Yeah.
So that shows that there's an appetite for something that's new and fresh, and we have the opportunity to technically tell our own stories, be creative how we can express our creativity how we want to express it. And what you'll realize is that that's new to the world.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it'll be embraced. People want to chow that. They want to eat that shit up.
You know what I mean?
That's what we have to do.
And the crazy thing is, if you think of the fact that popular music, what we see from the US, you know, the way that it's driven, there's a propaganda behind it.
Absolutely.
That's pushing it in that way. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
That's the machine that is
The
America.
machine has to push that.
Yeah.
There's one guy, I think it was Professor, what's his name now? He used to be in Naughty by Nature.
Okay.
And he had a line where he was saying, the worst thing that's happening now with music, in the music space, is that they are taking the worst of our culture and they promoting that. And they leaving this, you know what I mean? This genuine, authentic stuff. It's just being pushed to the side. It's like, nah, it's not interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the nicest thing about the current days is with the internet, we can push our own narrative.
There's no more like restrictions like
There are no more restrictions.
Like there's not gatekeepers
You
that
know?
can block you from uploading something on YouTube. You know what I mean? There's nothing that stops you from doing that.
Look,
So,
even talking about that, I'm thinking about the podcast that you're doing with Jillian.
Yeah, Julian.
Julian, yes. That is powerful, brother.
Yeah, every Thursday. So I tell people catch every Thursday. We call it Discover. It's on Discover TV. It's called Discover Africa.
Yeah.
Alongside my two brothers, Muzwa, also known as That Guy, and also Seydu. He calls himself the man in charge.
The man in charge.
And I mean, it's three African brothers. All of us work at quite established, renowned publishing entities. I'm at Sony ATV, Muzwa's at ACP, African Creative Publishing, and Seydu's at Sheer Publishing. And I mean, it's just really, it's an opportunity to talk about publishing so people understand it, the role we have to play, and ask questions. And then we also do a showcase where we invite one artist just to talk about. But as I said, as a publisher, we're interested in songwriters and producers. So that's why, so even the guys who we invite on the show, these are guys who are producing and writing their own stuff. So there just needs to be that clear distinction. Like people need to understand that we deal with songwriters and producers.
So, but now tell me, since you're talking about that, how I don't know if I've asked this earlier or not. How do you get an artist then? There's a creative in Josie or somewhere in Pretoria who wants to be a songwriter, who wants to be published, say, or is a songwriter who wants to be published by Sony rather than
So the best way to do it is we have got a dedicated email at Sony ATV. It is demoza, so DEMOZA at sonyatv.com. And basically, the best way is, and every fortnight, myself and the team, we have what we call our A&R listening session internally, and we just go through all the stuff that's been sent. So basically what we require is if you have an artist biography, just having your biog, make sure your links are there for your social media channels, as well as any of the DSP platforms and stuff, so we can check out your stuff. Actually. And I mean, if you want to get your biography, if you could also give us some stats, some data on how some of your stuff has been performing, that's if. And if you're brand new, it's fine. You don't have it, it's all good. Because publishing is about talent now. You know what I mean? It really is. It's not about the show, the flash. It's about the songwriting. Can this person, and my job is, as I said, is to find you other work. When I'm getting you to collaborate, it's not collaborating in the sense you're now featuring on someone's song. Collaborating in the sense you're writing a song for someone else or you're producing a beat for someone else. That's when I say collaboration, I'm looking to get guys to collaborate. That's how it collaborates. If, for example, when I send the song to Ningi Ningi in Korea, for example, and they're happy and they're like, oh, wait a second, who actually was on that demo? Whose voice is that? And they keep your voice and they want to keep you as a performing artist. Wonderful. Wonderful for you, but that's not what I'm after. I'm after, I need you to write songs for me. I need you to produce songs for me. It's almost like, it's like you must look at us like we're dealers. We're music dealers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're the main supplier.
You're the main supplier.
That's it.
So now tell me, if you're signing an artist as a composer, as a songwriter, so if I'm that artist, I just write songs and then how does it work from there? You would then give it to a particular Sony
the best
artist.
way for it to work is two ways. It's usually to work with a purpose. So it's not just saying you guys write songs and send me stuff. And usually it's work with a purpose when the opportunity is there. That's how I've seen so far. So I've been at Sony for 3 months and I've seen that's what works. So what would happen is I will get a brief from Korea. So for example, that's why it's about your ability to also get out of your comfort zone. So for you to be like, I'm just a rapper, then you miss on up. If you're a producer and I just do a track, you need to learn as a creative to expand yourself, to get out of your comfort zone. Because I mean, I get hella from, like, the first thing I did at Sony was just reach out internally so that we start talking. So I reached out to the LA team. I reached out to the New York team, reached out to the team in Korea, reached out to, so I mean, we connected and obviously introduced as well, But those are the things that went down. So I established those kind of links and we're already starting to talk with the UK team. They throw ideas and we kind of bouncing off like that. So briefs do come in. Korea is the most active because K-pop, if you understand the K-pop market is crazy.
Big. Yeah.
It's massive. So I can get between 2 or 3 briefs a week from Korea. And what I would do then is once you sign with us, and obviously that means you're capable. And obviously it's about quality, not quantity here.
Yeah.
It's not about numbers. We're not looking for the most. We just want to make sure quality. So I will share the brief with you, and the brief will detail. It'll have references. It'll show you this is the kind of song we're looking for. Here are references. This is the artist. They'll give you all the information. And one of the things I share with my producers is that, and this was passed on to me when I spoke to the head of creative of Sony ATV in Atlanta, Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Yes. I spoke to him and he was like, when you get a brief, make sure that your writers, you must eat, sleep, and breathe that artist for that time. They need to become familiar. They must create fresh music based on the brief that's there. They must listen to the references of what they want. They must listen to their songs prior. They must do, it's not just about making a beat. It's now a science.
You
need to take this seriously now. And that's how I talk to I need you guys to treat it like that. You have to do the research. You need to go onto their social media pages, see what kind of, you have to go in depth.
Understand,
And then you start creating. Don't go into your hard drive and think, I think this works. I've done this already. That's lazy. For me as well, that's lazy. And that's how I'm like, for anyone who wants to work now with me, let's work. That's all it's about. And doing that is eat, sleep, breathe that artist. Figure out what kind of sound are they comfortable on. If there's 7 acts, which is often with the K-pop, there could be 7 artists on the song. They have their groups still. They still do those they have a lot of groups, boy bands, girl bands. And you have to figure it out. But that's your job. And that's what I rely on you to. I will give the opportunities, and then what will happen is you send me a demo with, depending on whether they just want an instrumental or whether they just want to, or maybe they want a demo which has vocals and thing. The songs don't have to be mixed and mastered. It's just a demo. A demo just needs to be recorded so that whoever's listening on the other end can understand what the direction. And if they take it, then you're in guap.
Just like that.
You make money like that.
And I guess that's another channel of generating revenue.
Absolutely. And that's why it's definitely another way of generating revenue, because I know a lot of the creators, they're chasing the performing
Yeah, yeah.
It makes sense though, because that's the way the industry has kind of set it up. Is that when you're performing, that's the guys who are making money. Those are every night. I mean, guys hit. I think even in one of Casper's interviews, he talked about every weekend as in per gig. I think he's what? How much did he say?
Casper's getting mad.
He's getting wow. I remember.
Mad,
I think in my head, I just remember it could be on some music show.
100K or something like that?
He was saying you could be clocking around 250 in a night, but I think it was probably more though.
Yeah,
I don't know why I got that calculation, but anyway. But I mean. But the thing about COVID, it's not for everyone. Not everyone has to be a Casper and performing. There's still guys in the back. We still need the producers and the songwriters who are just as important as a performing artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We need you guys to create the stuff. As I said, Casper's now going to be on radio tours. He's going to be performing. And the truth is, as a creative, you always want to be working, but maybe he can't focus on music.
Yeah.
He's busy and he'll be tired. You're a human being.
Exactly.
You also want to include family life.
Yeah.
You've got now you are still expected to write music. Sometimes you need to rely on these songwriters and producers to do what they need to do and create demos for you. Yeah.
So in fact, is Casper, what is he signed with Sony? Does he have a deal with Sony?
No. Casper, I think he's with Def Jam.
Def Jam.
It's Universal Def Jam.
So for which rapper do you have? Do you guys have on Sony? Is there any rappers that you guys have?
Sony, the record label.
Yeah.
I think Questa, I think, had to do with Sony.
Questa, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm trying to get to is, let's say I'm a producer listening to this and I'm like, okay, I want to send my demo to demos@sony.com. Cool. And I know Questa is part of the catalog. So I'm producing a song.
Well, no. So that's why I say it's different. No. So that's how I was trying to differentiate when you're asking which rappers.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know whether you're saying on the performing side, on the record label side, or which rappers are signed to Sony ATV as writers.
So as ATV, can you get a writer for a Sony artist?
Absolutely.
So let's say then
I can get a writer for any artist.
Any artist.
So the good thing about publishing, it's not an exclusive deal that we only feed Sony ATV. So it's about, that's what I'm saying, we're selling music.
Yeah.
So I can go to Ambitious and be like, listen, we've got this. I can go to Universal and be like, listen, who's looking for music? So it's just about knowing everywhere, whether you're independent, whether you're major. My job is to get you people busy.
Yeah.
So that's part of the work that I'm doing is building these relationships so that I know who's doing what, who's dropping when. And this also expands also now because of Sony, as I said, global. There's a really dope who's looking list that we have, which is international. All the names that you guys know. There's a list there, which I really want our guys to jump on hard.
Yeah. So I could then send a beat to you guys.
So if we sign you, then basically, but as I said, it depends on who's actually really looking.
Oh, yes.
It's not just because sometimes, I mean, Casper's just dropped an album, so I doubt he's looking for music now.
Yeah.
Or Nasty, or everyone who's just dropped, I doubt they're looking for music now. So it's all about when it's needed. So what my job is to really build good relationships with all these guys to know when they're going to be wanting music now, to know when they're looking for writers, when they're hosting song camps. I mean, I think it was very fortunate we were able to submit for Shoma Josie's song camp that went down in early September. So she had a song camp and she was looking for music. And fortunately, I was able to get my guys to write and we submitted. We'll see what gets chosen and stuff. But I mean, so you mean that's the opportunities
powerful,
and that's how it needs to work.
Yeah, powerful. That's very powerful, brother. And look, I'm hoping everyone who's listening and is going to take advantage of this because it's a massive opportunity. It's a massive opportunity that you guys can put on. Flip, Munya, this has been so dope, brother. and just wrapping all of this up, you know, there's a lot of info that you just took out. Jewels, brother, jewels.
No, it's the only way to do it.
Yeah, I just want to know your parting shots in terms of what future do you see for African music? What do you envision in the next 5 years, 10 years, or whatever the case is?
The potential is massive for this continent, especially since, as we're all aware, the world's eyes on us right now. As in, Africa is cool. We are the cool right now.
We're the cool kids.
And we need to own that. And we need to almost lead those who are looking in.
Yeah.
For me, the biggest thing, as I said, is education. We need to now start treating music like a business. That's the truth. I mean, the talent is there, without a doubt. The artists and the creators are there. But I really want to be a part of this movement where we're developing business-minded people in the industry so that whoever is in the studio, Ningi, producer and artist in the studio making a beat, it's fire, they're excited. they let them not think about a split sheet, but I want someone to be in that place, a third person to be in the room, to be at least like, okay, guys, yes, the fun is good, we love it, but before we all go home, how are we going to divide the song for the composition rights?
Yeah.
What are the splits? Are we going 50-50 because maybe it was the producer invited and it's just 50-50, there's no money that went across, however or did maybe someone do more on the beat than the other person? You know what I mean? So how are we going to split it up? And it's based on work. That's that percentage of, when it comes to composition, right? That 100% is based on how much work did you put in. If you feel you did 75% of the song and you both agree 75, 25, signature, paper, done. It's one less thing to worry about, because then when that song starts making guap, and you haven't done that stuff, and now Munya is claiming 100%, now it's a dispute, the money's frozen, no one wins.
No one wins,
so education is so important. And I know also another thing in my personal capacity that I'm currently working on is putting together, so Moti is originally a name I gave myself as man of the industry.
Man of the industry,
I used to play with that, and because that's what I want to be, a man of the industry, someone who's credible, works with integrity, tries and gets done what I can. You know, I'm doing my best for the industry.
Yeah.
But then as time went by, I remember things changed in my head, and I said, you know what? I don't want to be the only man of the industry. We need to develop others. So the M changed to M. Instead of man, it changed to master. So it's now masters of the industry.
And
that's the movement. So Moti for me is now masters of the industry now. And I'm working on an online platform called motiafrica.com. And on this site, all the stuff I'm sharing now is what I want to, which would be on this platform. I'll be able to, I'm going to, in video format, because I know creators don't like to read and all that shit. So it's going to be in video format. Build this platform, building the narrative from where, if you write a song, what are the things that you need to be aware of? Because that's the problem. People don't know. You think you made the song and it's done, but you need to treat it like a business, and there's admin that needs to be handled in order for the monies to flow.
To start flowing.
That you said the chakras need to all now, you know, let it flow.
Alignment,
so,
brother,
so Moti Africa, and I'm also working on an online digital split sheet to try and assist with split sheets, because one of the biggest things, we're not dealing with split sheets. That's also in development as I'm even talking to you. So hopefully, I really want to launch this before the end of the year. There have been a few delays and people have been distracted a bit, but I think I'm back on it. So motiafrica.com is going to be coming, and it's just something to give you guys, just so that so you can all do better.
You can do better.
So you don't come in here blind thinking that you can just drop a song and it's going to sell 1 million streams and you're going to make money. Nah, it doesn't work like that. All these people who you think are overnight celebrities, they've been putting in grind. You'll end up saying that they've been in the game for 10 years. If you think about someone like Burna Boy, I mean, if you actually think about Burna Boy, I mean, when he was in SA back then, I mean, we're talking about 2000 and something, 11, 12. But I mean, he's been putting in that grind for him to be a global superstar now. It's
even
not
before
overnight.
he came this side, he was
doing
even
the work in Nigeria, he was doing the things. So I mean, it's not overnight success, and that's one of the biggest lies. In actual fact, I often feel, and I know I feel passionate about this, so sorry about the vent, but I think sometimes you lose value in music because it's so easy to make now. People think that you can just download a program, you make a song, you put it out, you become an overnight celebrity hit. It doesn't work like that, guys. Those are the lies that have been fed. And the reality is, it's hard work. Being a musician, an artist is hard work. Building a brand, it's basically building a brand. That's what it is. You're building a brand, and that's what it's not easy to do that. And that's on the artist side. And on the composition and performing artists, the producing and writer side, it's almost just the same, but at least it's based on talent, though. If you're a good songwriter, if you're able to, you can start earning earlier as a songwriter and producer than as an actual artist.
Before even making it to charts and all
you know
that.
what I mean? And that's the opportunity, and that's the distinction I want there to be and people to understand. But all in all, closing remarks is we need to educate ourselves. When we do better, when we know better, we do better. I call myself the favorite Moti because I want to be your favorite master of the industry. We need other masters of the industries, males and female, everybody. We just need these people business minded. So look out for Moti Africa. I'm always on Instagram is my platform of choice. But
you're busy on Instagram.
That's
your
my
stories
favorite
are always
place.
popping.
That's my favorite spot, Joe. I love Insta.
Your stories are always popping, brother.
So I mean, but to look out for when announcements of Moti Africa. I know I've set up social media for all of it already, but there's nothing on it yet for Moti Africa.
Dog, you could have went for moti.africa.
That's what actually, no. Yeah, actually,
You saying
I did.
motiafrica.com.
Sorry, I did. I actually, initially, funny enough, I did want to do
Africa. Yeah.
But it was actually taken. It actually was taken, actually, funny enough, because I saw you got now the domain, you can put .africa. So that's why my other company is called create.africa. Because I did that with some of the other things. Yeah, I did for some of it. Yeah. So create is the company. But and also look out for the project Happy Endings, the Umbube story. So that's where the whole Umbube 2020 falls under.
Yes.
There's happy endings because at the end of the day, I wanted to give a happy ending to the family, because if you watch the documentary that's currently on Netflix, there's no happy ending for them.
Yeah.
So ultimately, once I'm done with Umbube 2020, we've been documenting everything. I want to also tell the story of what it took to do what I did with this song and this project. So that you know better as well, so you can see that, okay, so you have to sort this out, you have to make sure this kind of agreement's in place, what kind of and we're doing documenting everything, and there's something which at the end of the day it will be on Netflix, and it'll be the happy endings that they deserved, and then we'll keep on getting more and more, fam. So look out for happy endings, the Umbube story, and there'll be more stories to come, because the Solomon Linda story is not the only one out there. So look out for more, but the brand will be there, happy endings. And
shout out to you, man. There's so much stuff that you're doing. I love the content space that you are into. And you know what, as a foundation as well, that's the space that we want to play into. That's the space that we need to start documenting our stories. 100%. We need to start keeping them. You know what I mean? It's very key. I'm checking your Sankofa. Is this the Sankofa sign?
Oh, it's the this is the Gina Me.
Gina, yeah,
from Ghana.
Yeah, from Ghana.
All my tattoos are actually the Ghanaian symbols.
Is it?
They're all from West Africa. Adinkra symbols. Which I just fell in love with them, actually.
Powerful.
So that's how we do it. Keep 100.
Jeez, brother, thank you so much, man. This was supposed to be 30 minutes.
What are we on? We're on 50.
55.
That's good. We must give them an extra 25.
Give them what they are.
You know, your favorite multi gives you a little extra all the time.
Nah, we'll talk, dog. We'll talk. I think the platforms that you're working on, I'm very interested to find out about those. So when you're ready to launch, let us know. You know, let's talk about it. Let's let people know about it. Beautiful. And I'm so grateful, man, for what you've just said. Like, sure, you've opened my eyes to a lot of stuff that I wasn't even aware of.
That's good. Yeah.
And thank you so much, brother, man.
Beautiful.
We're looking forward to the platforms that you're going to be doing.
Look out for them, please. It'll only help you all.
What is your Insta handle?
So Insta handle is at Munya Chanetsa. That's my personal one. Obviously, there's also the Sony ATV. SA, Sony ATV _SA. There's Create Africa. There's Moti Africa. Those are all the different handles. But I mean, the one that's mainly active that I'm on controlling is my personal one, the Munya Chanetsa. So feel free to hit me up there. And let's see.
This is sick, man. I need to find a way to, in post-prod, I'll speak to Skeezy to help me out and put Umbube. We need to get the song on that as well, just in post-prod. And also the song is on platforms,
it's on
right?
all digital platforms.
Yeah,
so
what's the name?
Everywhere. Umbube 2020.
Oh, Umbube.
So if you look for Umbube 2020, Boki Alt, Cuba, Mautela Queens, and Moti.
What did you do in there? One second, let's just before did you sing in the song?
So what ended up happening is, we recorded the song at AM Studios there in Newtown. And so we got the Queens in and everything was done. And one of the things I forgot and I didn't think of is that you need the bass.
Oh, yeah.
Because even the Mautela Queens, they're very a cappella, they murder. Their voices are so rich. It's crazy. But we didn't think of the bass. So now we're in a position. So actually, the road manager, Veli Shabangu, he, myself, and Cuba had to jump on for the bass.
For the bass.
We had to do the things. And we showed up. But if you check on YouTube right now, under Create's channel, there is a little video we have put together, just some behind the scenes of what went down.
Fire.
So you'll see what went down in the studio. And
definitely, man. We'll definitely share the links to that, man.
Beautiful.
Moti, man, thank you so much, man.
We out here,
Doug,
thank you, fam.
Thank you so much for everyone who's been listening, man. This is, like I said, this is the first installment of Indie Podcast. And we're going to be having many discussions like this with African creatives, with young creatives. And this is what we just want to explore. We just want to share information with the guys. We just want you to know what's happening in the industry. So look out for the next episode coming out. And a big shout out to the Department of Arts and Culture. They've actually sponsored us with the equipment that we're using here. Big shout out to them. And we're going to be doing more content, like I say. Yeah.